Morning, everybody! Welcome to day 149 of Level Grinding the Daily Hustle. I'm Rachel, and for those of you who are coming to my channel, I want to say welcome. I'm glad you're here today. If you are new and this is your first episode, welcome to the shenanigans. And if you are a returning subscriber, you know what these days look like. So yesterday I was talking about how it felt like I was doing a whole bunch of little tasks to get my table, to get my house, to get my work back in order, just trying to clear the runway and getting all this stacks of piles of little things that have built up. I likened it to the book If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. And I had made really great progress. Everything looked really clean. It was really great. And then this happened. So my husband and I decided to move the bookshelves that were here, swap these were in our bedroom, and to basically then cut down said bookcases that were over there and create little short ones, which meant all of my books had to go, which meant that all of these books had to be gone through, which of course meant that papers that were in there had to go over here. Yes, and these bookshelves came out of the living room. This is where one of those white things was. Another one was over there. Don't look at my messy bed. So yeah, all of that stuff has to get figured out. Basically, my house turned into a giant jigsaw puzzle at about 7:30 last night. Robo and I were going through some of those files that you saw yesterday that were sitting on a chair right over here. And so we were going through it. We started eliminating stuff, and then it became the question of, well, how do we do this? I have been wanting to rearrange my side of the bed because I've been like boxed in there over there, had like a little tiny nightstand and all this stuff. And so in trying to solve that problem, it opened up another problem, which required solving for that problem, which required If You Give a Mouse a Cookie did not end yesterday. So now cleaning up a little bit more of my house goes back on my to-do list today. All right, I got breakfast. I'm gonna sit down here and eat. Hooray, I'm ready to go. The next thing to do is start planning out my day and actually map out what needs to happen. This is kind of important because of the mess that I need to clean up and I need to get ready for because my friend Amy is coming into town. Yay, yay, yay. She should be here around 3 o'clock-ish, I'm guessing. And then sometime around 4, either just at 4 or a little bit after, I need to get ready to head downtown because I'm going to be teaching a learning lab on video editing tonight at CU Denver. So lots of big stuff happening. I also need to move some stuff forward on my scripts for Denver Rescue Mission. I need to find out where my script writer is with that because I got to start getting those things reviewed and checked by Denver Rescue Mission. That way we can be on schedule to be able to do recording next week. Fun. And I also need to double check. Oh, I feel like there's something else that I'm missing. So day planning. Day planning is going to be super, super, super critical for today. If you are watching my morning walk talks on my Instagram stories, you heard this yesterday. Talked about it today, but it's yesterday for you, about the idea that Beyonce has the exact same 24 hours as you do. Now, I saw this as a quote on a coffee mug. No, not this one because it's all Christmassy. But basically, it was kind of one of those statements that was like, you should get up and hustle. You know, if Beyonce can do it, you can do it. And it's really true. Like, Beyonce doesn't have any more than the same 24 hours that we do. But I was bringing this up from friends after reading it, and they were like, yeah, but Beyonce has assistants to help her out during her day. It's like, well, yeah, but she didn't. At one point in her life, Beyonce didn't. At one point, any single person who is the most creative, the most accomplished, the most successful person who we all look up to in the world also did not have help. Ariana Huffington did not have help. Gary Vaynerchuk did not have help. Thomas Edison did not have help. Alexander Graham Bell did not have help. Helen Keller didn't have help. Like all of these people that we were all like, oh man, they did so much with their lives. They had the exact same 24 hours that you do in the beginning. And so for me, I've got 24 hours. Today I have a lot of stuff that I need to get done. And so for me to be able to put my best foot forward is to use that time wisely. Now, if you're in the same place where, like, you don't have assistants, like you don't have a videographer running around, or you're editing your own video, or you have to cook your own food because you don't have someone who's cooking it for you, or you don't have a personal assistant who is telling you, hey, this is where you need to be and this is what your schedule looks like, you know, you got to do all that yourself. Remember, at the beginning, every single person had the exact same 24 hours. And so if that means that you need to reallocate your time, maybe you shouldn't be reading a fiction book, or maybe you need to not watch television, or maybe you need to figure out how to make all of your meals and store them in a refrigerator for a week, and then you can just pull them out. Like, whatever it is that you need to do to maximize that time, is the thing that is going to be best, because that's what's going to start moving you forward, so that in time you can actually get those assistants to be able to help you, because now you are using your time effectively and you're making more money and all that wonderful stuff. So, yeah. I don't have a PDA, I do not have a cook, I do not have a cleaner, I do not have any of those things. So it's all on Watt today. So I'm going to eat, start planning my day. Breakfast is done, and I have finished scheduling my day. Let me try and lock this down. Hello, come on. There we go. So yeah, I have this done and ready to go. Let me bring this in a little bit closer so you guys can see. You guys probably can't see it all. Yay, that's more better. Okay, so lots of things today. I need to edit yesterday's video. I need to clean, obviously. I need to figure out transportation for tonight and tomorrow morning. My friend Amy's coming into town. I need to make some breakfast so that I have something really quick to take with me. Creative Mornings is not going to be doing gluten-free tomorrow, so I need to make sure that I have something to do that. I really want to get to my 12-week year. I'm really close to having that done. And while I'm doing all of this, I want to be uploading work for the the photo archive that I need to be doing. So this is going to keep me busy. Yeah, got to get to it. All right, listening to BEYONCE. Let's get this queued up and going. Perfect, that's going to render out. I will upload it to YouTube, and in the meantime, I'm going to get some stuff uploading for the photo archive. And I can have both of these things happening in the background because I have really blitzing fast internet. Yes, I pay for it, I pay through the nose for it, but this is why I pay for it, because I can tag team and things go quickly. Alright, yesterday's video is getting online. I've not yet started uploading photos because I actually just got off the phone with my scriptwriter. I was checking in with her to find out, like, hey, where are we at? And she just needed to have a talk through of where she's at and why she's at where she's at. And just, you know, when you're creating something and you're working with a client, every once in a while you're given a ball of stuff that you need to figure out what's there, and you need to figure out what's important and what's not important, and then you need to regurgitate it in its finished format, or in its at least put together format. And sometimes this is a process where it's really easy to get stuck, and it's really easy to get confused because you've spent so much time in the nitty-gritty details and pulling everything together and watching everything, reading everything, that it's difficult to come scale back out and say, okay, what am I actually trying to do with this? And so sometimes I have found in my role as a producer, either managing a client who I am cutting a video project for and them saying, like, here's all my footage, I just needed to figure it out. Or in this case, where I'm actually coordinating a much larger sphere of work and multiple facets to it, sometimes I have to play that role of counselor with my producers, with my scriptwriter, with my clients, and just say, hey, this is where we're at, this is what we need to do, and this, what is your problem? How can I help you do this? And this sometimes it can be really interesting. I like it. I like it a lot. Some people feel really bad when they're talking to me and like, oh, I'm sorry, like I should have this stuff figured out. And it's like, no, it's okay. Like, this is why you're a part of a team, and this is why you are working with me, because you are a team. You're a part of my team, and I want to make you feel good about what you're doing. I want you to feel confident that what you're going to produce when you're done is going to be good. I want you to feel like you have all the support that you need, and that if for some reason you feel like you're getting backed into a corner, I will be in front of you and I will go to bat to keep anything out of the way so that you can get out of that corner. And this is something I really enjoy about being a producer, is kind of that personal relationship and that I say personal management, but it's not like I'm dictating to somebody. I'm overseeing what are they doing, and I get to be somebody's protector, I get to be somebody's encourager, I get to be somebody's counselor and saying, look, this is what's actually better for you than what you're doing right here. And so I got to do that a little bit with Andrea today, just being like, hey, I'm here, where are you at, what do you need, how can I help you? And quite honestly, I think that is the best thing that a good producer can do. And quite frankly, any person that's working with another person, to give them a thing. Whether you are an employee giving your boss something, whether you are a project lead giving your manager something, whether you are a CEO working with another company, or in my case, a producer who is helping another client both get a finished project, but also working with my team to get a finished product. The best thing that you can do is go in with the attitude that says, how can I help you? You know, and thinking about that example of Beyonce having the same 24 hours that I do, you know, ultimately the people that are coming around her are saying, how can I help you? How can I help you be really good at what you do? And on some level, you know, if Beyonce is going to be a real, you know, tick about things and she's really going to just like be annoying and not make anybody else's life easier, well, then she's going to make her assistants' lives really difficult because it's going to be challenging to know what she wants. She's not going to be communicating. And quite frankly, this is not a good working relationship for anybody. And I'm sure that Beyonce knows this. And so she's working with people to say, you know, like, this is what I need, but on some level, how can I make it good so that you can actually go execute on that? Not that Beyonce is putting in more work, which kind of defeats the purpose, but that she's working with her team to help her succeed. And so, you know, even though I might have to give counsel or I might have to give encouragement to my team, ultimately they are the ones that are helping me do what I do. And so it's a reciprocal relationship, this kind of production, this kind of leadership, this kind of time management. When you're working with multiple people, it is something that is valuable to maintain. When you are on top of something, you don't have any more power. And when you're below somebody and under somebody else's authority, you're not completely a peon. Like, your responsibility is to help, but the guy that's up above you is also responsible to help. And when both people come in with that kind of a mindset, things go a whole lot simpler. So this is just like a little aside that I thought was really interesting because, you know, I had to do this, and this is, you know, this is what comes out of this kind of stuff. And I feel like when you take the time to have these kind of good working relationships and you take the time to look out for each other and to work to the benefit of other people, you know, that honestly builds a good reputation. You're easier to work with. People like working with you. They know that they're not going to get, you know, stuck in a meat grinder just because you're a jerk. And so, yeah, that's what I try very hard not to be. No jerks allowed. So one of the things that was on my to-do list is making blueberry muffins. That way I have breakfast tomorrow that I can just grab and go. Just one problem. See this egg? Yeah, it's a beautiful egg. Guess where it's not? Yeah, it's not in my batter, which is already in my oven. We'll see how these come out. All right, it is 1:15. I am sitting down to lunch. I'm going to try one of these muffins because I need to find out how they came out. Not that I can make other ones because I'm out of flour. Today has been interesting. I am tracking upload projects, making muffins, and trying to clean all the books up that are in my house. And somewhere in here, I want to get to my 12-week year. And dealing with a script issue, potential delay for Denver Rescue Mission. So I am hanging in there. I am trying to remember to breathe. Beyonce, I know you get the same 24 hours that I do, but holy crap, what happens to you when this kind of shenanigans happens, huh? An update on the muffin. It's not terrible. It tastes a bit doughier than normal, but that also could just be the flour. Wait a minute, that's probably the flour I used. Hold on a second. Yeah, likely. The all-purpose flour from Bob's Red Mill is made from beans. One of the things in it, who knew? But if you don't cook it all the way, it kind of tastes like a bean still. But I think for the fact that I left an egg out, this isn't bad. All right, I'm going to get back to my lunch. Okay, guys, remember how today has been all about how Beyonce has the same 24 hours that you do? Yeah, sometimes that's complete BS. I have had a heck of a day. I'm on my way now to the class I'm supposed to be helping out with. I have gotten lost. I'm a half hour late. I broke my phone. I nearly sprained my ankle. I'm really having a hard time right now. So, in terms of broken phone, I'm capable of recording right now, but I don't know what that means for the future. So you may or may not see episodes for the next few days. I don't know. I'm sorry. Now I gotta figure out how to get in this stupid building. Guys, I'm just gonna call this right now. If you made it in this far, you're heroes. And I hope your day has gone better than I have. Addendum. I honestly thought that was going to be the end of the video. But I just kind of wanted to Okay, it's amazing what happens when you finally slow down long enough to get some perspective and to just take a chill pill and again focus on the task that's at hand. Honestly, my stress level before this learning lab in this class was pretty high, and in part because I've been stressing about a bunch of stuff all day and kind of carrying that with me on this trip downtown and driving. And God, I should have taken the bus. I totally should have taken the bus, but oh well. Whatever, I didn't take the bus. And so I've noticed this thing in my life that whenever something's really important, I mean like really important, to use a phrase, it's like all hell breaks loose. Seriously, things that could go wrong, that never go wrong on those days. Schedules clash, all kinds of bananas happen. It's insane, it's terrible. Things like busting my phone happens, and not being able to find parking at all happens. Being on the wrong side of town happens. Nearly spraining my ankle. Like, all of this stuff happens all at once when it's something important. And so tonight, the class that I got to be in and to just facilitate and supervise, it was a bunch of students working on videos about digital health narratives. It's basically storytelling about health and using video as a means to communicate that. And so the cool thing is that the class was 3 Americans, 7 Chinese, and 1 Saudi. And so I spent a lot of time working with the Chinese students because the Americans got what I was talking about really fast because we all speak English and they've done a lot more video work. Not because they have access to stuff, but just like they're more used to it. And so, you know, for them, they don't have the fact that they're trying to learn a software program in a language that's not their first language. And so I got to just spend a lot of time with the Chinese. And if there's one thing that I am most thankful for from my first job was for an international missions organization called SIM. SIM, working in the U.S. office, my peers and my fellow missionaries taught me to respect culture, to understand the fact that my culture is not the only one in the world, to understand that if I could put myself into somebody else's culture and to give them that space and to learn how to adapt my thinking and my mannerisms to them, that I would have a better chance at communicating. And tonight I got to put a lot of that into practice, and it was fun. It was fun to be able to do it, and it was fun to know that I was able to actually really, really help. Asian culture in particular, Chinese culture, you don't admit that you're having trouble with something. You don't admit that you are really great at something. Everything is about the group identity, which is great because if one person in the group is actually figuring something out, they can help the other people. But if you're having a really hard time by yourself, you're not necessarily going to wave your hand and ask the teacher and say, hey, I'm having an issue. So knowing that, I was able to go in and just approach them and be like, what are you doing? Where are you at? What questions do you have? And work really, really individually with them in a space, in a way that let them, in Asian culture, you need to save face. Basically say, how can I help you? How can I make it easier for you so that you don't have to admit the fact that you don't know what you're doing and feel helpless and feel the shame of that. And so that was really, really cool, and it was something I was not expecting, but it's something that I know is beneficial and I know is helping these students. And so I'm really, really happy to be able to do this. You know, the theme of today has been all about the same 24 hours as Beyonce, and it's really true. It's really true, and, you know, I'm sure things go wrong for her. You know, ideally when you have assistance, hopefully it doesn't go as wrong as often, you know, but I'm sure that she has things that goes wrong. But the thing is, in the same 24 hours that all hell breaks loose, in those same 24 hours, something really beautiful can happen. And if you can take the space to let go of all those emotions when all the bananas are happening, then it allows you to have the space to be able to appreciate and come into another area and be able to not only experience it fully, but to give fully in that space because you've let all that other crap behind. So yeah, that was pretty cool. An addendum to the addendum. College campuses are weird. I've never ever been on one. I did my schooling, but I did it for distance learning. So, yeah, these places are they're just weird.